Let's go. Underground World News Live. Good evening on this 12/29/2025. Get the mic check in. Good to see everybody out there checking in. See Virginia, 716 in the house. Seattle in the house. Thank you, Wayne, for the quick feedback. E. Fitz, good to see you. Thank you. John Boy, Tiffany, Granite, Academy, D. White, Apocalypse, Geo. Thank you, guys. Steely, thank you for the super chat right at the gate. Yeshua is King. Rapture, much love, Meat Puppet. CCJ from the Phil. Dark Knight Cowboy. All right, thank you. All right. Well, got plenty to cover here tonight. Plenty of headlines. Hope you guys have enjoyed time with friends and family. Just peace of mind. I want to thank everyone out there that shares the stream. Thank you, D. White, Tacos, everybody out there. Appreciate that to the fullest. Yeah, we got everything you could think of to cover here. We're just going to start off with an update on space here, real quick. And thank you, Steve, for the super chat as well. I appreciate that, Steve and Steely, and anyone else that supports the channel. Coffees, PayPal, it's all appreciated to the fullest. We have a CME heading our way. Earth-directed solar flare erupting from sunspot 4317. That was not considered to be a threat for flares, but it erupted anyway. It produced an M4. We haven't seen an X flare here recently, but we got one heading our way. I don't expect too much out of it, but whenever you get back-to-back events, that's when we really start to watch them. Or if you get big, huge events like X20s or bigger. And Melpup, thank you for the super chat. We'll jump over here to the earthquakes real quick, man. We had a weird earthquake pop up here just yesterday. This as you can see here, right smack dab in the middle of Kentucky. Thank you for the super chat, Raina. This was fairly shallow. Anything under 10 kilometers, we consider shallow. I mean, these things can get up to hundreds of kilometers deep. So super shallow is like anything, I don't know, it's below a kilometer. If you want to get down to it. And thank you, Kat, for the super chat. Much love. This 3.2 was felt by people in Richmond and the surrounding area. There was no quake activity outside of it, which made it kind of odd. Fairly shallow, decent little size 3.2. We're used to seeing these quakes down here on the western flank around the New Madrid Fault, the Keyhole, and just on the western side, you really don't see too much activity this far east in Kentucky. Although anything can happen around the New Madrid, you've got all these smaller faults that feed into this area. They kind of spider web down into it from all the states. And we are overdue for the New Madrid quakes. Last ones were in the 1800s. They say that they're due every 200 years. And we're overdue. Yeah, cold weather out there as well. Anybody that's up in the Northeast, man, I feel for you. I don't know how you do it. Up to 2 feet of snow, potentially off the Great Lakes. It's been kind of a drought throughout the year here in my neck of the woods. Like this quake that just hit that you're looking on the map, it didn't hit far from me at all. I'm out here in the Dana Boone National Forest, and it hit right on the other side. And it's pretty close to home. You're not used to seeing quakes like that. If we see any more activity, we'll have to take a deeper look, try to see what's going on. But if anything's connected to the New Madrid, I'll update in a video. There was some information put out here just this past week that I seen where they were talking about an uptick in small quake activity around the New Madrid fault line. And they're pointing that out because not only is it happening, but most of these other sites, they don't cover the smaller quakes. They just cover the bigger quake activity. And you don't really know what's going on, but come to find out, there's been a bunch of really small quake activity around the fault line, around the Keyhole. So there's something going on. And like I said, if we see any other activity, I'll let you know. If you guys felt this or experience any earthquake activity, in your neck of the woods, let me know. But that was an odd one, I have to say. All right, we got a recall here for over-the-counter medicines and other items that have been recalled over feces contamination. The FDA announcing that a distributor is recalling its FDA-regulated products because there is the presence of bird and rodent feces. This was apparently discovered at the Minneapolis facility. Jeez. So this Gold Star Distribution said that on December 26th, it's recalling all of its FDA-regulated products, including over-the-counter cold and flu medication, dietary supplements, pet foods, cosmetics, medical devices, and foods that were distributed in locations primarily in Minnesota. I mean, are you kidding me? Cosmetics and medical devices. So all this stuff has the potential for salmonella contamination, the presence of rodent and avian contamination, and it's insanitary. Apparently, all this stuff was stored in an unsanitary facility or spot to where rodents were getting in and pissing and crapping all over all this stuff. I mean, what is going on up there in Minnesota? I mean, this is bad news. These conditions here create a significant risk that they can affect people's health here. So just a heads up, there are rare cases of bacterial infections that can be fatal connected with some of this stuff, but yeah. Again, that's Gold Star products coming out of Minnesota. How many of you out there? Just accidentally shut this one down. Okay. Apple issues a warning to anyone with an iPhone. This is crazy. A warning to all 1.8 billion users. I've seen big ones, but like this one, this is crazy. This is to everyone. They say that all iPhone and iPad users need to install the latest updates immediately to safeguard their devices against a critical threat. Now, I will say, sometimes this is how they get, it was how the government gets whatever they want onto your device on there. They create an instance like this. They need everyone to get this back door. Like the government wants access into everything. So the easiest way to do it is to go and say, hey, there's been a situation. You need to go out and get the patch. Everybody go out there and download the patch immediately. So when you download that patch, you're downloading the tools that they use to spy on you and any updates that goes with it. So that's just how the government pulls off stuff all the time. But you do have the real situations here where other networks and people are trying to pull off malicious attacks. So they say that right now, there's two critical flaws found in WebKit. That's the browser engine that powers Safari and all browsers on iOS. They describe them as part of an extremely sophisticated attack targeting specific individuals. The risk comes from malicious websites, which could trick your device into executing harmful instructions. That means that hackers might be able to take control of your iPhone or your iPad or run code without your permission. They say for users with automatic updates enabled, the patch should already be installed, while others will need to manually download the iOS 26.2 or iPad OS 26.2 through their device settings. Devices most at risk include the iPhone 11 and later, the iPad Pro 12.9 inch, third generation or later, and the iPad Pro 11 inch, first generation or later. Other vulnerable models include the iPad Air, third generation or later, the iPad, eighth generation or later, and the iPad Mini, fifth generation later. So these are all classified as zero-day vulnerabilities, meaning that they were unknown to the software creator and could be exploited by hackers before a patch existed. So a heads up. That's a huge one there. That's like every freaking product you could think of that they've made going back like over the past decade. That's a big one. That's big. I mean, hey, heads up. Much love, Crown Jewels, my brother. So it's not every day we get them like that. And on to the next one. McDonald's having to lock up their dining rooms in uptown Minneapolis, Minnesota, again, amid the rising crime. What is going on up here? Straight up. Massive rising crime. The whole Somali thing that we're going to dive into here in a minute. All the fraud, all the criminal stuff connected to every bit of it. It's getting out of control now. So uptown Minneapolis, Democratic paradise, I guess they call it. Oh man, the rising crime in the area, no joke. So they put up a sign that says, "Attention guests, effective Friday, December 5th, our dining room doors will be locked and attended to during our normal business hours from 5 a.m. to 10 p.m. to ensure a safe environment." I mean, they go on to add here that they will deny access to any individual that they consider a risk to maintaining a safe environment for their guests. So you're getting profiled and like screened. Like anyone pulling in the parking lot, anybody walking up, guaranteed somebody sitting in the office. They're looking at the cameras. And this is touchy. I mean, how do you know? You really don't know. You don't know anybody unless they have a history and you see that they're back. Unless somebody like is like throwing stuff or like being violent, making their way into the store, which I don't see that. So yeah, they're just locking the doors and locking people out, man. If you look like a friend, if you look like a friendly out there waving the white flag, they'll probably let you in. Um, this is crazy. So I mean, I can only imagine the profiling that's going to go down here. Yeah, anyone that looks like they're from the hood, from the ghetto, they're probably going to be like, nope, doors are locked. Which, I mean, in uptown Minneapolis, I mean, so I see this spreading. As the violence spreads, I see this. It's a tactic being rolled out. We've seen so many businesses get closed down. Hundreds and hundreds of each business. Past couple weeks, every show I tell you that like somewhere shutting down. I remember Jack in the Box was like 72 places shutting down. Then on the last show, there was like 77 of a different place. And they continue. an update to an incident that was covered over on X. We had a high pressure natural gas line rupture outside of Los Angeles. It forces a major highway shutdown. Um, Also, a lot of people told they had to shelter in place or evacuate the immediate area around it. And this was for several hours. Thousands of people around Castaic had to deal with this. Um, People reported hearing a loud blast around 4:20 p.m. local time. There were no reports of any injuries, but this massive 36-inch underground natural pipeline ruptured, and it sent all this gas spewing into the air. So apparently they got it taken care of, but I don't know what caused it. Nowhere do they say anywhere here on what caused it. They just say that it was damaged, a 600 psi transmission pipeline. Yeah, so 15,000 people sheltered in place. Even shut down traffic on the highway. So, as I get some reasoning behind this, I'll let you know. But it says right here, it is unclear what caused the line to rupture, although officials believe a mudslide could be the cause. Yeah, could be, but we don't know. There was torrential, copious amounts of rain, mudslides in California on the West Coast. Just a ton of it. And it's sad to have to report here that we have another incident where aircraft have collided again. This time, 2 helicopters in New Jersey. This crash occurred near Basin Road in Atlantic County, New Jersey. Officials confirming at least 1 death. Emergency crews working to, I guess, get the other person out of the wreckage, or another person out of the wreckage. One helicopter believed to have come down in a wooded section, while the second was seen burning after impact. Now, I read in a separate article that, in here, I'll play a clip. You can just quickly, you'll see it right, that one going down. It said that these were friends. It says that the people that crashed just had lunch together. I mean, prayers going out to everyone affected out there. But apparently, these people were friends and just had lunch and they took off. I'm not sure what happened, where the miscommunication was, or any of that. But the crash occurred near Basin Road again. And just RIP to the people lost here. Horrific. And thank you, Brands Europe Express, for the super chat. Appreciated to the fullest. And let me go ahead and throw out there an update real quick. I don't have any imagery. I did put out a video on this, but I don't have any images pulled up right now. And this is on 3i Atlas. They are saying that this thing is giving off a tail toward the sun that is inexplicable. And when I look at this deeper, I've mentioned this before, but when I look at this deeper, what they're saying is when this thing went around the sun, basically the anti-tail flipped. And this thing didn't flip. Even though it's spinning, it didn't flip from front to back. The poles didn't flip. So what they're saying is it had to have had pockets of ice that survived perihelion perfectly at both pole positions. And now they're seeing so much come out of the sun-facing jet that it defies all odds. What can it be? It can't be any normal composition, which we know it's not. This thing only had 5% water, ice water on it when it went around the sun. All that's long gone. Now there's this huge freaking trail, and they said that it was dumping the building blocks of life. Cyanide was part of it, some carbon elements. But it's very weird in nature that how it's doing this. It's not losing mass. Okay, when a comet starts to spew all this stuff, a normal comet, it's falling apart. It's breaking apart. It's called sublimation. Okay, especially when it goes around the sun. And this thing came very close to the sun, perihelion. It has maintained the solid core that is emitting its own light source. Like you've never seen anything like this. Like the 3i Atlas, and again, there was a composite that was dropped that looked like a Ezekiel's wheel. It's like the third or fourth composite that has looked like that, like the wheel within a wheel. And you wonder why people are saying it's Ezekiel's wheel, because the composites make it look like that. Now, a composite is not the raw imagery per se, because the raw imagery, you can see the tail and the anti-tail, and that it looks wicked. It's like a 4 or 5, like a 6-point stars, like something. There's points on it, and we've seen it. I showed that in a separate video, and we've seen it from multiple astronomers. This thing has features unlike anything I've ever seen in my life. It's got all the telltale signs of intelligence. They're being extremely quiet. And don't forget, when it went by Maven, when it went by Mars, all of a sudden Maven went out. Like kaput. Went down. It like fried it or something. Like, what are the odds of that? Like all these other anomalies that we've attributed to this thing. We got lucky this week, and they did drop 2 newer images from Hubble of it, and they have beautiful color. But again, it's fussy in nature. Like, they have the ability to see this thing at its core in great detail, and that they are sitting on, that they're not saying a word about. And again, shout outs to all the backyard astronomers out there doing their thing. Rays, and a much love to Dobsonian, who had Avi Loeb on for an interview this past week, and it was rather interesting because Dobsonian was just straight up real. What Intiago was just hitting him with the straight up questions, man, on all the stuff, all the facts, and they talked about it, and it was good information. There's a wobble, and then there's speculation that it changed course again. And this is coming from data that backyard astronomers are collecting through their instruments as they're tracking it, even if it's slight. But NASA hasn't updated anything. So that leads other people to say, oh, it hasn't moved, it hasn't done nothing. But remember, this is the same NASA that lies to us about everything. No one trusts them for nothing. They are sitting on, no doubt, the most beautiful and best images you could ever imagine of this thing, because they've got the best equipment. All the major space agencies are in on this. Remember, they locked in on this thing as part of the biggest global emergency event ever. Yeah. They're conducting this massive drill, basically, over this thing. And they tried to be kind of quiet about it, but it's known. It's out there. At first, they said that it was going to be part of a planetary drill, but then it morphed into the biggest ever, quietly. And it is, as they continue to observe this thing. I see other information out there that, it's changing course, or it could whip around Jupiter. But nah, I'm not going with none of that. When we see some heavy changes that could signify the thing's moving, like big time, more than a 10% shift in anything, or even 5%, then we can look at that. But I don't see the thing hooking around Jupiter heading this way, although anything is possible. Anything is possible. And it is going right at the perfect spot of what they call the Hill radius. It's Jupiter's magnetic pull, meaning it's so perfect that when Atlas cuts right through this area, knowing that it's spewing all the stuff, it's all going to get sucked in toward Jupiter. The magnetic pull is going to pull everything in toward it. And Jupiter is a beast. It's an animal. I've shared, I've showed, and I've tweeted out the GIF showing all the planets in the solar system in motion. And Jupiter is like the great protector. Its gravitational pull literally sucks in like a magnet all of the other rocks and debris that are in our solar system and pulls them out into a ring like the Oort cloud away from us. Without it, there would probably be no life here. We would be bombarded constantly by things. Same with Venus, same with Mars. But Mars is so interesting because it sits there showing signs of ancient life. And even the ancients have stated it. All the proof is there. Thoth wrote about it, that it was part of a war, an ancient war. And some of the entities from that war ended up here. And it was shortly after that Atlantis fell. So there's big connections there. Of course, we're lied to so much about space. Trump also just came out here recently and said that they're mandating that, like, by 2030 or something, we're going to have a base on the moon. Remember, when they start these launches, we've got to have all hands on deck. I'll even have to reach out personally to other people I know, like Tiago and others, that got good equipment, and we got to lock on to these flights, because you should technically be able to see them launch from Florida and go straight to the moon, not curve up out of view and disappear out over the horizon somewhere. This is when all that gets put to rest. All the questions get put to bed. Like, this should be observable nonstop the entire flight, knowing that all the time when they have cameras set up, they always cut the feed or they switch cams. They always have a camera set up right next to the rocket blast where it's just nothing but like flame. They've always got odd cameras set up, and they switch them around, especially when you start to see artifacts or UAPs, UFOs floating around on these launches. We've seen them a million times. I've seen these objects come up and I believe cause explosions, rocket explosions in the past. We've got it on film. We got it on film. When I went down and I filmed, it was the first eclipse of the 7-year window years ago. During the eclipse, I caught a UAP or a UFO or something way up there, way out like subspace. You could see it though, because of the uniqueness of the eclipse. It was off to the side. The sun was still glaring off it, and everything was dim, so it lit it up. And it just went zipping. And it was just like, okay, what was that? But I have a ton of footage on my channel of objects around the sun, objects around the moon, and we're going to lock into more of it in the coming year. It's something I'd look to dive into, is locking into all the space stuff, and just we're going to see what we see. That way, when we're live, it's no manipulation, it's no censorship, it's none of that. It's, okay, guys, whatever we're seeing, like, floating around, yeah. Ultimate goal would be to get, a big badass setup like Kart Racer used to have, and RIP, my brother. I know you're out there somewhere. Kart Racer used to be our man in terms of all that. We lost him, battle cancer. RIP, brother. And the RIP to these people that died in the helicopter crash there. I want to point out a couple ways that metals can get into your system and they could destroy your life quick, very quick. Okay. Now, heavy metals, man, is something you got to really take into consideration. It's something we're getting bombarded with constantly. You've got to be looking out for your own health here. Um, Again, cosmetics, cheap metal jewelry, things like that, they have lead in them. Um, Lead pipes in older houses. These are things that can be big dispersers of metals. Fish accumulate all the metal first. Um, they are the worst when it comes to all this because you're almost guaranteed that when you're eating fish, you're going to be taking in high amounts of metals. Um, Mercury here, and this is the big one. This is the big one that I want people to realize because they're putting an emphasis on this. Anyone that's like in their 50s or older, they had a lot of dental mercury put in their fillings when you were a child. Anyone's got all that mercury in the back of their mouth. If you ever go to get any work done, ever, even to have them removed, which you think is going to be a safe process, and I'm going to get all this out of, well, during drilling, toxic mercury vapor is released and can be rapidly absorbed through the oral cavity. And this woman had it happen to her. And it ends up going right into your brain, right to your nervous system. Soon after, she had devastating symptoms here. Sudden and profound memory loss, chronic insomnia, emotional turmoil, roving, electric shock like you got all the neurons in you are not responding and you have pain, neuropathy. If you have any of this mercury in your mouth and they go drilling or doing anything, you have to be extremely careful and remind them because once the damage is done, it's done. If they're careless and they're drilling and this stuff gets into just like her, a cavity into a hole and gets into your body absorbs it. It can cause all these problems and there's no fixing it. There's no going back. There's no removing it. Just a heads up. I hate to see people get caught in crazy stuff like this. Microplastics is another one. You got these metals and you got microplastics, right? Well, I want to point out some of the foods out here that have the most cancer-causing microplastics in them. Okay, people are not really going to like this, but oh well. Live in the dark, or you know. Apparently, the Taco Bell Cantina chicken burrito has one of the highest levels here. You can see the middle reading there at over 21,000 nanograms. The McDonald's quarter pounder with cheese, 406,000 nanograms. Oh my God. The Burger King Whopper with cheese, 5 million nanograms. Like, what are they just like baking this in microplastics? Like, what is going on? A Burger King vanilla shake has 12,000 nanograms of plastics in it. Like, I mean, it's in everything. A Chick-fil-A deluxe sandwich, 2 million nanograms. Chipotle burrito, 12,000. Shake Shack cheeseburger, 24,000. Wendy's Dave Single, 3.6 million. I mean, everything is just loaded, especially the fast food joints. It's unsafe. It's unhealthy. It's unsafe. A lot of this has to do with, how it's shipped, the containers, how it's stored, all these things. They're exposed to all those microplastics. So if it ain't one thing, it's another. Let's look at the births worldwide. All the births here in 2025. You can see who's having the most babies, what population is growing the most in India. They surpassed China, and they're going to hold that title for some time. They had 23 million births, more than anyone in 2025. You can see China's still up there at 8.7. Then you got Nigeria, Congo, Ethiopia, Pakistan, Indonesia. They all did more than the U.S. U.S. with 3.7 million. In terms of the births. Now, in terms of homicide rates in major cities, a look at the map here. And I can tell you, New Orleans, Memphis, St. Louis, and Baltimore, well, and throw DC in there too, they round up the top 5. You can see just, it's always the same ones for the most part. At the top, it usually always is. They may fluctuate or slide in and out and switch spots, but New Orleans, Memphis, St. Louis, Baltimore, DC, Birmingham is one that's crept up in recent years. You got Philly, Kansas City, Richmond, Virginia, and Indianapolis, Indiana, rounding out the top 10 there. And pretty quiet in the northern corridor there. Wyoming, Montana, the Dakotas, Idaho. I mean, compared to everywhere else. And now, if you think about it, though, look here, Los Angeles really out west. That's where a lot of it's at when it comes to the West Coast. Or California, you've got the San Francisco area and then Los Angeles. But you've got Dallas, Houston. You've got 3 different big city areas in Texas and 3 in Florida. So let's jump into the minerals real quick, and we're going to dive into the silver game because the silver's going nuts. Gold, all this stuff. And yeah, I know it's pulled back today. We're going to talk about all this stuff, but that's fine. Buy the dip, as I always say. Let's look here. China basically rules in terms of rare earth minerals. They have 44 million metric tons. Where is the U.S. on there? 1.9. Brazil has 21. Like, between India, China, and Brazil, they like dominate. In Russia, they dominate the world, man. Like, they just do. So you can see why Trump and others are geeking out about precious metals and rare earth minerals because of all this. He tries to say that they're not worried about what's going on in terms of minerals with Greenland. They want Greenland for national security, is what he says. He says when you go up there and you look up and down the waterways, there's Chinese and Russian vessels all over the place. So, regardless of the excuse, you should know that this guy is serious about this whole thing. There is an image that's you can look it up. It's called the Technocrat. Okay, this is what Elon Musk's grandfather and all the rich buddies had a dream of, and it was like the North American Union, basically. It's one huge North American block in the Western Hemisphere that's all controlled by the boys, by the club, by the same team. This includes all of Canada. Why do you think they keep calling it the 51st state? And Greenland. Guess what else it includes? All of Central America, Mexico, everything down to, guess where? Guess where it ends? Venezuela. Is that all starting to make sense to you now? Now the military spread across the whole freaking hemisphere. People are just sleeping on. I'll get to some of those updates here in a minute, but let's dive into the silver. And a much love to all my silver stackers out there, all my purebloods, all my silver stackers. If you missed it, silver tops $83. And when prices move like this, there's bad things that can start to happen. This is an indicator, and we're going to talk about what's happening here because I'm going to tell you, the game is about to change. I personally have been trying to promote and get silver out there for over a decade. Down the $12, $13 range, sub 15 is when I really started pushing it years ago. And back then wasn't a lot of activity. There really hasn't been a lot of activity throughout the years, but what it's done recently is it slowly crept up. And if you'd have just invested, way back then, at $15, $10,000 into precious metals, at this point, it's done like 5x or better. So you'd turn it like $50,000 more easy. You'd be a huge right now. It's a huge come up off of an investment into one thing. Here's where I'm going with this. Okay, listen up. I'm serious. Pay attention to this because this is my call from here. I put a video out on it, but I want everyone to be clear about this. Like, this is the update. Okay, the update to a decade ago. Okay, it's time we revise things, right? It's perfect time for it. We're going to look ahead for the next 10 years. Okay, and if it happens sooner, so be it. But man, 10 years just flew by. And if you're someone wanting to set up a retirement right now, think about it like this. What if you would have had 50,000 parked in silver from at $15? Can you imagine, where you're sitting in at like $250,000? And just imagine, just to stay in it. You got $250,000 in silver then. It ain't even hit $100 yet. This thing is going to 1,000. Okay. Let me break down some things here. Okay. First off, the big dog is China has come out and told the whole world they are effectively shutting down the exports of all silver on January 1st. Okay? January 1st. The markets open up on January 2nd. And I'm going to tell you now, chaos is going to ensue. Now listen. I watched a guy earlier. He broke down the math perfect. And he got $89 an ounce on silver on where it should sit. By the math, perfect. And that is what Shanghai had it at. Okay? $89 an ounce. Meanwhile, silver on the paper market in the West it's been trounced down to like, let's get an update at max. It's at 74.25. You can see right there, we were up here at 83. It's dumped all the way down. It's starting to like level out. Now, you can load up right here and say this is the dip because you got a dip before this thing hit triple digits. Okay? You can never say it never presented an opportunity, but all too often when these things happen, people get scared for whatever reason. They don't make a move. But I'm going to tell you now, this is the window to start to average in. Now, averaging in, if you have $1,000 you want to invest, you'd put $250 in right here. Okay? And you would wait for the next move to where it goes down to 70 or lower, because it could crash down more and more. And that's why you average in. Or it could take off running north. If it starts to take off running, you got a choice. You can either drop another 250, have 500 in it, and just be satisfied that you've got some skin in the game before it takes off on a moon running to triple digits. Or if it falls, what you do is it falls, you keep averaging in. You just keep buying the 250. Drops down to the 60s, drop another 250. And then, you know, if it, somewhere along the lines, you're gonna have to pick up your last 250. It may not pull back to $50. It may, but these things don't happen overnight. These pullbacks happen over days, weeks, months, where the bear market to kick in. And these spikes, these tops are very short-lived. Even if it goes back up from here and it hits triple digits, once it gets up in that level, it's gonna pull back somewhere. It's just going to. So let me explain another key aspect to this here, okay? In the West, the banks, JP Morgan Chase, and everybody else, they have been rigging the precious metals markets for a long time. They've been busted doing this. They've been busted. They've been fined, and the people at the company have been sent to prison. Right? This has happened multiple times. Of course, Jamie Dimon never gets in any trouble. Okay, so they've been manipulating the prices this whole time. Okay. Now, they would say that you would like to see gold at around a 30 to 1 ratio. Gold to silver, 30 to 1 ratio, okay? Not a 60 to 1, you know, like something crazy like where we're at now. What you would really like to see is a 15 to 1. That would be normal, okay? Well, I'm going to tell you right now that if you tried to hold those ratios, as gold approaches 20,000, silver is going to crack $1,000 easy. And I'm telling you, this is your chance. This is it. This is it. This is it. I told you 10 years ago. Proof's in the pudding. I don't lie. And everybody who follows me knows. I've been seeing this for 10 years, man. Again, the call of calls. You know, none of the get-rich schemes work. All right, you have to make an investment. You have to believe in one, and you have to ride with it. Okay, here we are. Okay, we're looking 10 years out. $1,000 silver is going to be the goal. 5 years, 10 years, doesn't matter. 1,000 is the goal, the benchmark. So what that means, if you're sitting at that point in time and it's at $1,000, you're going to look back and you're going to be like, okay, you did what with it? When did you get in? Well, if you got in before $100 or before, then you know you 10x'd all your money. You have a chance to 10x an investment for your retirement right here. Only caveat, as it always is your government. But they don't even worry about that. Like, this is such a huge move right now. I know people that have hit me up and have already said, like, yo, thank you. Thank you for the call. from years ago. I loaded up. People stop by and they've been like, "Yo," throughout the years. They've given me thanks. But here recently, I'm getting emails. I'm getting hit up. People saying, "Yo, um, just giving me all the stories. Everyone seems to be doing really good, which is great. Some people absolutely holding forever, you know. Others doing a little bit of selling. Um, and do what you got to do. You know, times are rough. Hey, that's what you did this for, right? I mean, I will say though that if you go using this for an emergency, though, down the road, it's you're gonna wish you didn't. You're gonna wish you just stacked it and stacked it and stacked it and stacked it. All right, so all right, now when it comes to the West in this paper game, it is, as I said, rigged. It's $75, 74 on the screen. Shanghai, there's like a $14 gap. Okay. This does not happen in the real world. Okay. Okay. It doesn't. The reason it doesn't is because of something called arbitrage. Okay. Arbitrage is when everyday traders out here can take a commodity or one product and they can jump from one market to another, and they can find the difference in the price point. If it's $1 or two, they'll buy it on one, they'll go sell it on the other, and they'll make the profit. And these windows don't last long because of that. These pros arbitrage all day long. And if there was a $14 arbitrage sitting in gold, it wouldn't last 10 minutes. So now you got to ask yourself, how is it sitting, lasting for hours, days? It's because it's broken. The system we have watched our entire life is breaking right in front of your face. And this is what no banker or no mainstream media is going to tell you. We had a major bank over the weekend default on silver. Many suspect it's JP Morgan Chase. At 2 a.m., the Fed had to inject billions to keep everything afloat. So they can make it all seem like everything's just normal. If they can actually keep this pulling back, they'll keep a fair illusion going here for the coming days. But I'm going to warn you. When the markets open on January 2nd, something is going to happen. Because all the Chinese silver is going to be gone from the market. There's going to be nowhere to get it. The paper market is going to have to catch up with the Eastern market. It's going to have to at some point. It's going to have to. The Eastern is the real value because it's what people will pay for. They need it for technology and all this other stuff. The paper market is rigged. Okay? So what this is doing is they're hoping that at this point, people are selling their silver into this. This may not make sense to some of you, but for the big dogs, you owning a piece of silver, every piece is a ticket. Okay? It's a ticket to the rocket ride. Do you understand? And if they know that this is going, this is classic. If they know this is going to the moon, they shake you out. You understand? They want to shake out as many people as possible, so there's less people riding on the rocket with them as possible. They want to shake you all out now. Okay? So they do this in these coming days. If I'm telling you what, man, if by January 2nd silver is above $100, that is melt face mode. When it hits 115, you can say 112. You can say, dude, we're $100 on top of on something we were buying at $12. It's worth $112. You know how insane that can be? That can happen this week. There is going to be a snapback. The market is broke. Okay? And look, when people start to make a call on their silver and they cannot get it delivered, they're sets in panic. Then there's a run on gold and gold will spike. And when they find out that they cannot get their gold delivered, the whole damn thing falls apart. And the gold and the silver that has always been king will be king. And all fiat will collapse like a domino. Only way to save it will be to back it by a gold and a silver. In all those countries, like China and all the others, they've been buying it like no other, record amounts, hoarding it like nothing else on earth. They will be king. They will be king. And when they back their currency with it, what will you do? If you know that you can take the Chinese currency to your bank and you can cash it in and you can get physical gold for it, but you can't with the dollar, what are you going to do? Whole world is going to say to hell with that dollar. And they're going to go with whatever currency is backed by gold. Now, in this instance, most countries will have to do this just to save. This will be a move, all in all, globally. So what do we got here? This popped up. Thank you. I've been staking for 20 years and not stopping. That's what they want. They want to shake you out. Weak hands. Fear is not an option. If you're stacking, you got to ride it out. Oh, you got that right. Got that right, Ryder. Low rider in the house, man, brother. Wow, much love, brother. Just, oh, man, feels good. And then you're out there just... Yeah, man. Thank you for that super chat of super chats there. 100. Man, let me tell you though, brother, for all you cats that have been stacking this whole time, I can only imagine you've got a nice load. I want to see all you do this. I mean, look, set some goals, man. If this thing pulls back and you've got a window of time and say it don't explode at the beginning of the month and it has a pullback, I continue stacking, man. The way I see this is anything under 100 is money. $10,000 invested below 100. I mean, there you go. 10x it, you got 100,000. And just keep riding it. I mean, that's just at 1,000. As gold goes higher to 25,000, once this thing clips 1,000, it's like anything else. It's not just going to hang around 1,000. It's going to keep rising. These things are going to continue. They're going to keep on making moves. There will be pullbacks though. Palladium or platinum had a huge pullback tonight. These dips are the dips you want to buy, man. In my personal humble opinion. And Jason, thank you for that super chat. Much love, guys. Appreciate it to the fullest. I'm gonna get one more refresh here. All right, so 74 is where we sit right now on the silver spot market. I want everyone to know it's just getting good, man. Like it's averaging. Don't miss this train. If you were to go over to AppMex right now, let me just pull this back up real quick and show you. Even though the spot is at the 74 here, let's go to silver. Let's go to silver bars. Okay. See, when you buy them from here, they're going to ship them to you, and they'll come in a plastic sleeve or something, and it'll be serialized. You can see here a lot of the stuff on the screen is pre-sale. It's pre-sale. Look at the price, $83. $83. Let's go for 1 ounce. 1 ounce silver bars. 83. is the low price right now. 83, 84, because there's always a premium added, like $5, $6, $7 premium on top of the spot, and that arises as the price rises. So here's all your options. They got some sales going on. Like you'll notice, if you're in this just for weight, you want to get the lowest price out here, because I'm not in it for the design. I'm not on it for the picture on it. Year of the monkey, year of the ox, or the buffalo, or the centennial. I don't care about none of that. I'm in it for the weight. Okay. Well, see this Tetris block right here? It's about as cheap as you're going to find them on here. 80, 81, 81.17. Not many people want to collect them. It doesn't matter. This is pure silver. It will be serialized when you get it. That's as cheap as you're going to find. If you're trying to find the cheapest good silver, $9.99. This is where you can find it right here. You see the Tetris pieces are on sale. They are the cheapest, right? You're going to find other one like Pamp Swiss through the roof. Look at that. 1 ounce, $117. That's the print. That's how much you're going to pay on top of it. They got all types of different stuff, colored bars and all this. But what I would tell you to do is to look for the 1 ounces for the cheapest. Steamboat Willie here, $83, whatever, $82. Year of the Snake. None of that crap matters. All that matters is that it's 0.999 and that you're getting it for a good price. Okay, so what you might want to do, though, is sit here and watch for the next day or so what silver does if they dump it down into the 60s. They dump it down to 60s, definitely you have to take a stab at getting some. Especially if you've bought higher, if you can. But you never just throw the whole stack at something. Never take your whole 1,000 and just enter it one spot. Unless you know it's like market crash, bottom, catching knives. But yeah, man. APMEX, a good place to look. I just want you to know that when silver goes bananas like that, it's not going to be good for the dollar. It's not going to be good for the economy and for the way of life as people know it. Okay, it's not. But better to have a backup plan than nothing, right? All I could say is anyone that listens from here, look, I done told you before, and I know people didn't listen. And I know people are kicking themselves, wishing they did. Hell, I sold some of my metals along the way because I had to, and I wish I didn't. But it doesn't matter. It's what it is. Still in the game. My thing is, I made sure I off most of my load to my friends and family. Now they're in a huge come up. Like my buddy I went to, my dad, was like, "Yo, I'm in a tough spot. You want to buy this for a legit price?" Now they're huge come up. It's like when they deal with me, they know that like anything I'm coming with is they've profited off of majorly. That's so from here on out. The plan is $1,000 silver. I don't care what it does every day in and out from here on. It's going to get there at some point. How much can you stack before it crosses 100 is kind of the thing to me. Because then you don't have to buy no more. Just make a $10,000 investment. This is an example. Or 5 or 1,000. It doesn't matter. Whatever you can do. You're going to 10x that is the thing. So it matters. 10x and 1,000 gives you, 10,000. But if you could have squeezed out another 1,000 and made it 2,000, well, guess what? When you 10x it, that's now 20,000. So there's a big difference, man, here in getting in before 100 and just sitting back and knowing you're part of the club, man. Pure Blood, Silver Stacker crew. We stack gold, all the metals, really. But this is where it's at. This is where it's at, man. And when you're holding, this isn't the paper game. This isn't a derivative. You wonder why they're running the price down real low and shaking. They're wiping out longs and shorts. That's what the paper game is. Longs and shorts are wiping them out, man. You don't have to worry about that when you buy physical. Like I'd never play the silver and gold game in paper in longs and shorts. This maybe minutely to fiddle around, but like no, it's all about the physical here. It always has been. Nothing but when it comes to the metals, baby. Again, the only caveat to all this is a tyrannical government that could come wanting to take it all. I did see somebody earlier that tried to say that they are pushing a bill to where they're going to stop Americans from being able to hoard silver. I'm like, screw you. You ain't doing that. You guys can try all you want. Like, I don't know. I'm waiting for everyone to catch up to me. With where I'm at mentally here with this whole thing. Like, what are you gonna do? Kill me? Like when you lose your fear of death, then you can start to get more proactive. I'm just waiting for more. I feel like I'm all by myself out here. I need a little bit of a crowd out here, and we can start to get loud and rowdy. Don't worry, I'll stick my head out there to get it blown off. You guys don't have to worry about that. I don't care. I'm not afraid to die. I'm more afraid of not achieving what we set out to do here than anything. And being on the other side, wishing, shoulda, woulda, coulda. Nuh-uh. Spiro in house. Jason, much love. Montana, man, checking in. Thank you for that. All right. I think I talked enough about silver. It's gonna wreck the market, though. I warned you. All right, let's look at some predictions going into 2026. Just a few. I'll name them. I'll throw them out there, and everyone can kind of sit on them in the back of their mind. And as we go through the year, and be like, well, okay, maybe we hit this one, hit that one. So I'll name off some key ones. I'm not going to hit them all, but widespread investment in agentic AI. AI-powered cyber defense gains ground. AI finally shows up in productivity. Space becomes the new fad trade. Equities still powered by AI and big tech. Treasury curve steepens. Double-digit gains for the S&P 500. Tariffs become a new norm. Stable coins go quietly mainstream. Marketing supercharged by AI. Defense spending goes up. Gold super cycle hits $4,500 plus. We're already there, partner. We're there today. Like, Gray's home. That's crazy. Risk assets beat cash. What's that tell you? That very last one. Risk assets. That means the dollar dies. That's code for the dollar dies. We already knew this. We already knew that 2026 was the transition year. Mar-a-Lago Accord, the Great Reset. And it's been a slow roll, so to speak, here with killing everything. They've killed the economy, wiped out jobs, inflation. They've killed the dollar. And restaurant closures just keep happening. DC, they said that people are spending less, that places just are going to continue to shut down. What's going to be left? Like nothing, empty buildings, literally, ghost towns like these malls. Like, it's sad, man. This whole place is falling apart. We can't just sit back and keep watching this happening, man. It's all right. Anybody out there on Snap? Well, they're about to do away with your junk food. Just a heads up here. You got many different states, and this is a good thing. terms of health. So there won't be no more junk. I'm not going to go through the whole list here, but a move they're making, switch it up here. An update on this 19-year-old Camila Mendoza Almos of Texas. She disappeared on Christmas Eve right outside of her residence. She is still missing. I was hoping that they would have an image up here. They don't. Here is a positive, though, in a different story. A Texas father rescues and finds his kidnapped daughter on Christmas Day by tracking her phone. The suspect is in custody without bail. Used his daughter's phone tracking feature to locate and rescue her from the kidnapper. These features can come in key and big time, let me tell you. Just, I mean, if you care, you care. If you don't, you don't. It's just that simple. If you care about your kids, well, there's apps out there that let you know, like when they leave the house, when they leave the yard, or just, when they've made it home. Things like that, so you know that they've made it home. Some of them even allow you to track where they are in real time. Like, so if they're in a car and they're traveling somewhere, you can see they're moving at like 50 some mile an hour, wherever they're at. Or if you see they're moving at like 2-3 mile an hour, and they'll even show you like a foot, like they're walking. They're on foot. They're walking. All these things. Technology is insane these days, man. So, I'm glad this guy found his daughter, man. And thank you, Kenzo. This great year of reporting. Thank you for the super chat. I appreciate that to the fullest. Yeah, and we will be here on Wednesday for the countdown. So we will be doing the ball drop coverage right here. We'll have a long stream. There's only one caveat there. The stream may start off at 10. It may be late. If we're going to go ahead and do the ball drop and go through midnight and all that, it may start at 10. Or it may not. I may start at 9. I don't know yet. I'm just saying. It all depends on the flow. If I've got a ton of stuff lined up, then I might just go live at 9. But I don't know. We'll see. But we're watching the ball drop. We're going to cover the ball drop on the next show. So be ringing in the new year with all you guys. Wouldn't have it any other way. And we have a story here where Texas goes on a high-speed chase. Texas DPS chasing a smuggler carrying 10 illegal aliens. And they crash into a commercial vehicle. Pretty wild chase here. I'm going to play a little bit of the clip here for you guys.
Yeah, that's it.
They crash. It's
3B206, 1050, Black Navigator on Mines Road, northbound. It'll be Williamson. You're locking in.
Get out! Get out right now! Get out! Get out! Okay. Pase uno por uno. Uno por uno. Okay, we got it.
I mean, the guys, they're really lucky. They didn't die in the chase. Some of these chases, that's exactly how it's gone down. This is a pretty crazy one right here. This is Metro Nashville police pulling over a Tennessee Highway Patrol that was escorting the Tennessee State House Speaker Cameron Sexton. And they get in this argument. It shows the audacity on how, one thinks they can just get away with stuff like they're above the law. But
Get over here.
Highway Patrol.
I don't care who you are.
Freaking hands off.
You touch me again, I'm going to lock you up, my friend.
Tennessee
You're out here.
Several minutes before, the MNPD officer attempted to pull over the black SUV. It was heading east on Briley Parkway, going 85 in a 55-mile-per-hour zone. The officer pursues the vehicle for several miles. At one point, the SUV flashed blue lights back at the Metro officer. Eventually, the officer pulls alongside the SUV and calls out to the driver before he finally pulls over. The driver quickly charges out at the car, identifying himself as a state trooper. Then the officer says he'll lock him up if the trooper touches him again.
Get over here.
Highway Patrol.
I don't care who you are.
Freaking hands off.
You touch me again, I'm going to lock you up, my friend.
The trooper displays his badge, and a few moments later, things get physical again. All of this with Speaker of the House Cameron Sexton in the vehicle.
If you're going to run 85 miles per hour in a 55 mile per hour zone, you need to yield to the police. I don't care who you think you are.
I'm the police.
Well, the police are trying to stop you because you're breaking the law. Yeah.
Did you not see my blue lights?
The interaction ends after the trooper shows the officer his ID, and the two part ways.
What's your problem, dude?
I got business to take care of, man. We got places to go.
You do?
Yes.
Okay.
I got the
We're going to see about it, my friend. Have a good day. We will see about it.
I mean, the shoving, like normally you put hands on an officer, it doesn't matter. Like, that's charges. In that instance, like, I don't know, man. I don't know. So it just shows you, man. They get like that with their own kind. I mean, imagine how they get with other people, when they get like that with their own kind. Like, this next story is an unfortunate one that I have to report on. We got an Arkansas couple sentenced after attempting to sell their infant son for $1,000 and a six-pack of beer. Deranged mother avoids prison time because they think she's just kind of like nutcase, like loopy. Like insanity, I guess, is going to be the plea for her. The guy that is I don't know, man. I see stuff like this. This is pathetic. I mean, they don't deserve the child. Maybe the child is definitely better off in someone else's care. Let's just put it that way. It pisses me off. People like this don't need to be having children. But you know how the world works. No one ever plans anything. People just have kids, and like, where's the love, man? Like, you're gonna meet this kid down the road, man. Had to look him in the eye, like, yeah, man, sorry, I had to pay some bills, man. I need to take some stress off. Need a six-pack of beer, man. We said the hell with you. You know, like really, like, I don't know, man. It's like a different level of heartless. I don't know. It takes hard to describe sometimes. Man, this guy looked, I don't know why, he looked kind of familiar. Lamar Beasley. This guy fatally stabbed Cheyenne Castens at a Dollar General store in Florida last month. Just for no reason. Stabbed her 40 times in the parking lot for no reason. We can't have this. This is why you got to have concealed carry everywhere you go. Let me tell you, because if I'm in a parking lot and I see anything going down like that, then like someone's getting put down. And that's how it should be. There should be someone, a righteous person around with a weapon, prepared to stop a psycho. I mean, if there would have been someone sitting there rolling up that they had a piece on them, a gun on them, right when this guy started to attack her and she started to scream, they could have neutralized it. She may have got stabbed a few times, but she could have survived. Stabbed 40 times, didn't stand a chance. Yeah, and David indicted for murder. That's good, Gio, because we all knew right at the gate he's guilty for it. All right, let's jump into the Somalia stuff. If you don't know, federal agents are descending on Minneapolis and all their businesses, going door to door, and just there's an investigation here into childcare and rampant fraud. So they're going to all these places, just kind of checking in, trying to see what's going on there. Some of these places are saying that they're full-blown like markets, and they're not. And this is what you can expect to see. You can see these guys in these jackets right here is what it's looking like.
Are there any subcontractors or anything you guys do?
Going up, conducting these interviews.
Say like other businesses that you partner with that you use for a service of any kind, maybe transportation or anything like that. No. We provide usually veterans.
So when you see these guys that say police HSI on the back, you know that's part of ICE or DHS basically. And yeah, just rolling into all these places, trying to get the scoop on what's going on with all this Somali fraud.
So these individuals tried to report the fraud that was happening in Ohio, and then eventually came to me to say that we're watching providers rubber stamp paperwork for home health. So in Ohio, and there's many states like this, Pennsylvania and other states too, where you can go in and you can say my aging parent needs a home health care and I want to provide it. So the state will, as long as a doctor has approved it, continue to pay you. It could be for 10 hours, 12 hours, up to 24 when it's critical care. So you could sit at home without caring for an elderly parent who really doesn't need it, make about $75,000 to $90,000 a year. Now you add two parents, that's $180,000. Now you add your in-laws, $250,000. You continue to add this, and you wonder, what are the services being provided? So a lot of providers came and said, fraud is occurring because we said we weren't going to rubber stamp this paperwork, so they went to other providers. Their home health care network saying, we'll make it worth your while. Well, sounds like a kickback to me. So we really need to investigate the Medicaid system and how much it's increased since the Somalian population came, and who really needs critical care, because that's meant for our disabled, our elderly, and people who really need it, not to just live off our system. And that's what's happening in Ohio. I think it's ridiculous. I think it's despicable. But authorities are now looking at it from the Attorney General's office to the U.S. Attorney's office. I flagged them all because this is Ohio tax dollars, and we have to take it seriously. I'm tired of people telling me, well, this is the way it's always been. It's subjective, and we can't really check. No, you can. Audit America, audit Ohio now. And I'm pushing for that in every single state.
So you can see it's not just Minneapolis, that's Ohio rolled in right there. And, Tim Walz knew all this stuff was going on. He knew it was happening. And he knew it was happening and did nothing. He even admitted it right here when he said that they should have been keeping Minnesotans up to speed on what was happening and going on. And they called it out right here. Reminder, he knew that it was going on, did nothing.
I think what the president did was elevated. I do believe, and I will fully own this, we should have been keeping Minnesotans more up to speed on what was happening. We should have been, I think, on a better cadence as you see things that were happening in 2022, as the tools that were given to the administration would get there. So again, after the fact, there was a lot of folks talk about this. I have 7 years of proving this. I just fixed these things. And should we have fixed MNLARS before it got there? Certainly. Certainly we shouldn't have gone through 10 years of trying to get a licensing system. But once we got there, once we figured it out, we fixed it. And I think that's true.
I don't know what was up with the audio there on that one, but look, I showed you some of these clips before. I told you how he was complaining and crying, even his daughter, about the people driving by calling him a retard. Well, look, we've got a clip here. These people doing this. So this is what's happening outside of Tim Walz's house, like constantly. This is like the new egging someone's house. When egg someone's house or do something kind of petty for a laugh or something. It's like, or whatever. Like this is the new thing they're doing, and it's like the hot thing around town. Everyone's like, "Oh, what are you doing, man? I ain't doing much. What are you doing? I don't know. You want to drive by Tim Walz and call him a retard? Sure, man. Let's go." You get carloads of bored people just driving by, calling this guy a retard. Which, in defense of anyone out there that has a mental disability, it's definitely not cool in that aspect. But for everyone else out there that just sees the funny side, like
Retard! 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 Somali! Thief! Retard! Retard!
I mean, that guy sounds like he's the one that's got the mental issue. But this is what they're doing.
Retard! 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 I'm too
Gosh, he's about to have an aneurysm. So you see what's going on there. That's what Tim Walz is dealing with. I'd say you're not too popular if you've got that going on like that. I don't know, man. So here's a clip of a guy kind of butthurt about this whole thing. See what he says.
This is going to be the shortest video I've ever done in my life, based on what we've all seen in Minnesota. If tens of thousands of Somalis are not deported back to their third world country, and if government officials like Tim Walz and other people in Minnesota are not sent to jail or at least indicted, let me just say this. This administration, the concept of Make America Great Again, and for that matter, the rule of law, are all completely full of shit. Nothing else to say. Full stop. Case closed.
Man, everybody's got their 2 cents put in these days. It's funny. Hate to tell you, dude, but nobody cares. On to the next one. I play some of these clips so you guys can see what's going on out there in the world. And like, just I'm disconnected from the mainstream news and all that stuff. So I find some of these clips, they cover some of these topics, and I don't know, it lets us see, I guess, what they're feeding the masses in some of these instances.
Government is getting involved here. House Oversight Committee, it's widening its probe, inviting state lawmakers to come testify and other federal departments to investigate. So let's bring in now Chairman James Coper. He leads the charge over at Oversight, and he joins us now. Good morning to you. Tell us about who you're bringing in, who you want to see on Capitol Hill, and what questions do you want to ask them?
Well, the most important people are the state whistleblowers, the state employees who put that tweet out that we all are familiar with a few weeks ago that alerted America to the massive fraud. These state employees also allege that they had warned both Governor Walz and Attorney General Ellison for years that this fraud was occurring, and yet nothing was taking place. So we're going to bring the state employees in. We're going to get their sworn testimony. We appreciate their bravery in coming forward. We're also going to bring in state lawmakers and Minnesota mayors because the walls are caving in on Tim Walz. This massive amount of fraud is affecting and impacting every citizen of Minnesota because they're having to cut services because so much of the money for social programs was wasted and defrauded by this Somali population. So these are the people we're going to bring in. We're going to try to identify who was responsible for this. We're going to try to identify banks that we can subpoena their bank records so we can follow the money to see how much was taken, who took it, and then who do we need to hold accountable, and hopefully we'll have some criminal referrals at the end of the investigation.
What is so fascinating about this, Chairman Comer, is how no one knew. Or did they know? This is an op-ed from the Wall Street Journal here, asking, I think, a pretty fair question. When nearly $250 million can vanish from one state program before anyone truly notices, taxpayers are justified in asking who was supposed to be minding the store. The uncomfortable answer is that no one elected by the people held that responsibility or held the mandate and clout to stop the scheme. You know, your whip, Tom Emmer, says there's no way that Governor Tim Walz didn't know or somebody in his administration didn't have an inkling that there was something going on. Do you agree with that? And how do you prove that?
I agree completely. Look, Tom Emmer was a state legislator in Minnesota before he came here. He has the pulse of Minnesota. He communicates regularly with Minnesota state legislators and Minnesota state employees. They've been talking about this for years. There was a congressman that came in from Minnesota when I came in 9 years ago to Congress named Jason Lewis. He was talking about the massive fraud from the Somali population 9 years ago. So this is something that's been talked about in Minnesota for a long time. The Minnesota media is very liberal, so they're never going to write anything bad about a beloved Democrat like Tim Walz or Keith Ellison. So finally, the state employees have stepped forward publicly and talked about this massive amount of fraud. And I can tell you from our preliminary discussions with these state employees, it is a significant amount of money. And remember, Minnesota isn't a big state. So when you're talking about billions of dollars for a small state, that is a significant percentage of the budget for welfare in that state.
Should the governor resign? Ava. Are you calling on him to resign?
Well, not yet. He deserves due process, and we're going to give him due process. One of the things he said in the last 48 hours was that the Oversight Committee didn't need to worry about this investigation, that he would take care of it. I mean, no one in America believes that. That is a joke. We are going to investigate this. The key to a good congressional investigation is having whistleblowers. And fortunately for us, we have some state employees who have bravely stepped forward. We're going to get them under oath, and they're going to tell us everything they know, and we're going to go from there. Wherever the investigation leads us, we will go. We're going to try to do it as rapidly as possible. But I think at the end of the day, the American taxpayers, and especially the taxpayers in Minnesota, are going to be sick at their stomach, and Tim Walz is going to have a lot of explaining to do.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I want to see how it unravels, but, you know, how much of it's just another puppet show. You know, I'm looking out here at James Comey and Lydia James, and all these other cats that are like getting indicted and getting just let loose. Like, I'm looking at the Clintons that, like, for forever have just been doing whatever they want. Hell, they've even been skipping out on the deposition that they're supposed to go in and give, and they don't care. So all this is a crock of crap. This is one big club that we're not in. It's what it is. The left-right is exactly that. Left-right paradigm is to keep everyone lost and confused and fighting, and that's where they want everyone. Long as they've got everyone there, they're winning. And, you know, a lot of these other stories, man, like P. Diddy, the whole thing with that, they serve as like a big headline, a distraction for a small bit. But, like, you know, someone like him, he gets his card pulled, and, like, he'll probably be out before this administration's up. You know, um, there's no one. I mean, look at Ghislaine Maxwell herself. They moved her down to they give her special privileges, allowed to have a dog, all this other crap. Like, what? Um, this whole game's messed up, man. Keep it pushing. We out here. We got an alert for New Year's Eve. So if you're going out and you're going to celebrate in the city or at any big event, please heed this warning. I mean, if you've got friends or family, if you know of somebody that's going to go out, you see on Facebook or something, someone's, oh, we're going to go down here for, or you see people are tweeting images or somewhere, like, you got to remind everybody to be super duper duper safe out there. Lone wolves, they're saying, eyeing Times Square. So now we've got NYC, Chicago, New Orleans, all these places that are on high alert that got threats, credible threats, shutting down all kinds of New Year's Eve events. So it's going to be interesting because a lot of the places around the world that when the countdown happens, it's going hour by hour. All these places are lighting off the fireworks. Like, some of these places are not even doing it. They're not even doing it. So it's taking away the celebration of freedom. For all these people, like ring in the new year, whatnot. But let's see. I feel something's going to happen at some point here. I mean, how can it not? You know, I've been waiting for years and years and years for like something big to happen during the ball drop in NYC. It's never happened. No, fortunately, and I don't want it to happen. But I mean, they've telegraphed NYC getting, attacked more than any other city on the planet in movies and everything else. So Gotham. Oh, Gotham. Mom Donnie is going to be in power as soon as this ball drops too, which is going to be interesting. I see more chaos continuing, whether something happens in NYC on New Year's Eve or not. I see just events happening over the weeks and months ahead, just staged, all part of the theatrics, all part of the chaos that's happening here. You can see that they flooded illegal migrants into all these countries around the world. And it was a plan to basically destabilize all the countries. And it worked. It worked because you can't even go in any of these countries and really even know where you're at anymore. It's sad. It's pathetic. But that was the plan. And these people were sent there for one reason only. It was to go there and destabilize the places. Go do what you want. Don't worry, when you get there, the local government will support you. They'll have your back. And it's sick because like in the UK and Ireland and all these places, you can see clearly the government is utilizing the migrants against the masses and daring the civilian population to say a word about it. And if you say anything on social media, they come kicking in your door. It's Gestapo. It's freaking Gestapo. So they're just smaller scale of what they want to do here. Don't forget that. But these attacks can happen anywhere. And much love out there, Uncommon News, guys. Make sure to check him out, man. He's got this device. I can't wait till he's fully done with it, like through and through. And I can like get a model and like test it out and like he's got something going, man. It's just like much love, brother. Like he's got a device going that like it's completely off grid that can't be tracked and like all this stuff. And It's going to be nice to be able to utilize something like that. Much love, my man. Putin is playing Trumpster. Yeah, well, the whole world is a stage, yeah. The DOJ has subpoenaed the flight records of a reporter that was tied into this whole Epstein thing. So when it comes to Epstein and all this, Trump here recently just said, go ahead, give out all the names. Go ahead, just let everybody's name out. Just embarrass them all, get it over with. He's trying to act like people are going to get embarrassed. Let's do it. Let's get some non-redacted stuff. Let's do it. I have a funny feeling when they start to release names, though, like names, it's going to be one huge bunch, and not just a handful. People could cherry pick who they want out of the group, but like, if they drop a ton, it's going to be safer for everyone, because a lot of people can just be like, oh, I was there for a business trip, and I had nothing to do with it, any sexual anything, blah blah blah, and they're just going to have to deny it, and that's it. That's it. Just gonna have to deny it to the public. And they're gonna get embarrassed that they were even mentioned. But they were there, is what it is, right? Like, I could see that's what they're gonna do. But they also brought up the talk that they were trying to hit it home that Trump was working for the FBI. So that if at any point, like, Trump's caught in a video or like anything compromising, they can say, well, he was our man. He was there because he was our man. That's crazy. They got to cover for it, man, through and through. And when it comes to this whole thing, you're like Prince Andrew, that's no longer a prince. You know that you're guilty, like when the royal family strips your royal title. Well, dude, Prince William seems to have it out for Andrew, and he's going after him. He's going to deal with him before his father passes away. Look, William's about to be the king. We've waited a long time for this. Long time. King William. Remember talking like a decade ago about this. King William, we knew it when he was way younger. Of course, we all were. But here we are. It's that time. You talk about just all the crazy things happening, stars aligning. Like 2026, there's a good chance we could see King William. It's definitely going to happen, I'd say, here. I mean, Prince Andrew just came out and said he just celebrated his last Christmas. So, I mean, what does that tell you? You don't even think he's going to see another one. So, sucks for him. The Queen was around forever, and his reign was very short. King William could live. I mean, he could be King William for 10, 20, freaking 30 years. Who knows? All the way into the end. Like, this is very significant to me. I've waited for this moment when he takes over the position and assumes the role of king. King William. I am. Ever since I did a video a long time ago, it was connected to I Am Legend and Will Smith and I Am and Will I Am out of with Fergie out of the group. There was all the stuff that was there that we were covering. It was just crazy as always, and it all pointed to a King William that was going to happen. And in all this, William was holding the hoof of the lamb, holding a white lamb and like holding the hoof and smiling and looking at you. And it was just like, back then we were thinking like, what? Like this dude trying to act like he's Christ? Like, is he the one? Is he the anti? You know, and all this other stuff. But when it comes to anti, man, I personally believe a lot of these characters are a part of the club. They're all part of the same evil spirit. They're all main figures of it. You can argue Trump's that head. You could argue King William would be. It goes on and on. Some say the Pope, whatever. I say it's all in the spirit of evil. They all definitely are. But if you want to look at the real true, like Antichrist, or what Islam calls the Dajjal, well, it's who's going to be sitting in the temple when they build this third temple. And look, he's here. The rabbis, the Jews, are on film. Look, the Yanuka is here. He's here. It's known. We've talked about it. We've covered this. They already did the sacrifice of the red heifer. And what was so amazing about that is we covered the whole thing. They said, oh, we're running a practice run. And then after the whole thing was over, they came out and had the audacity, the people that participated, the Jews on the ground are on camera saying this, that they lied to the world, that it was the real deal. They just didn't want a whole bunch of media attention on it. So they said it was just a practice run, nothing big. But they did it. They burned the red heifer. And they lied, classic nature of them. They lied to everybody in the process of the whole thing. So, red heifer has been burnt, and they have the ashes. And the ashes are to be kept, so they use it for the purification of the third temple. See how that works? The ashes are very key. They are used for purification of this new temple. So the whole process is super huge. So again, the whole importance of the red heifer was burning it to get the ashes, because they are what purifies the whole place. John says we are the temple. Yes, I get that. I get all that. But what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. This third temple that they're wanting so bad. And what just amazes me is how many people are just oblivious to the fact that the Wailing Wall, what's left of the original temple, was not built by humans. It was built by the jinn. And that's wild. Every time I see it now, every time I see Trump or I see anybody over there and they have their little cap on top of their head and they're sitting there, they have their hand on the wall, they're crying like a baby, or they're kissing, smooching the wall and shoving a piece of paper in it, I sit there and think to myself, man, like, this was built by the jinn, man. And like the fallen. You see, we already know that about Trump. Trump's got Apollo and Artemis and Zeus all over his house, all over the roof, the tables, the walls, you name it. It's the fallen. That's who Trump worships. He says, I'm not a Christian. No, he's not. He's not Jew. He's not Christian. He worships the fallen, is what he does. And it's clear. It's all over the place. There's bloodlines here, man, that run this whole thing. The scary part is Gavin Newsom's a part of this whole thing, part of the bloodline. They gave you Biden. If they dare give you Newsom, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Here's some races to watch in 2026 coming up. Just some places that have these midterms going down. Texas is one of them. Georgia, Maine, Michigan, Ohio, North Carolina, Nebraska, and New Hampshire wants to keep an eye on. The protest going down in Europe with the farmers is something to watch. It's a warning to America, as it says right here, and we can't ignore it. Like, our farmers should be doing the same, and I agree. They should have done this. Like, someone needs to step up and do something. But it seems most of them here have been begging Trump, for a check, and he's been throwing them bones, and that's what they'll keep doing. That's UBI. They have no problem with doing that. The printers are on. They keep printing. They can keep doing whatever. They've destroyed everything at this point. But, like, we need action here. We need someone protesting and doing something. And I mean, I would go to the event. I'd be a part of it. I'd jump in there, I'd live stream, I'd do what I do. But I'd love to see farmers en masse come together genuinely and rise up against the beast. If you guys ever hear or know of any events going down, let me know. Dabu7@yahoo.com. If you got the heads up on something popping off, do my best to cover it. Here's another heads up. This is from MI6, or an ex-spy, saying that hundreds of Islamist sleeper cells are in the UK and they're about to launch a new 9/11. Oh, just great. Just great. We've suspected this the whole time, but we were just sitting here talking about all the attacks, the alerts for New Year's Eve and all this stuff, man. Like, I'm so sick of this crap. It's obvious something huge is about to happen. And in the meantime, look, again, everyday people getting attacked. A British teacher branded a terrorist for showing Trump in a video in a political class. This is pathetic. On these war fronts here, Iran, and you may not know what the president of Iran looks like, but this is him. They don't show him all too much, mention him all too much, but he says his regime is in a full-fledged war with America and its allies. Really? Like, the whole little skirmish last time when the U.S. and Israel hit their facility and said they destroyed it, and we know they really didn't, and we seen the proof of that they didn't, and then they just stopped. That was weird. Well, Iran hit inside of Tel Aviv and inside of Israel multiple times with their hypersonics. The Golden Dome is garbage. It didn't stop much of anything. That is why I believe that Israel ended up backing off. It's because they were getting hit directly and they couldn't stop it. All they could do is continue to volley back toward Iran, and they were sending shots into Iran. So when they both kind of stopped for a second, they just stopped. And Trump and everybody tried to be adamant that they destroyed everything when satellite footage was showing different. I don't know. So guess what? Iran's back up on the top of the list. Anytime now. Trump just met Bibi, the boss man. Just came. They just met. And what's it say? U.S. will knock the hell out of Iran if nuke sites are rebuilt. So more threats. Iran. It's always some kind of threat. And when it comes to Ukraine, they say all these talks have gone good, and Zelensky says they're ready for peace. Thanking Trump after a great meeting. Wow. Let me tell you, he probably just screwed everything up again, just like they did last time. And I wouldn't doubt it if the U.S. supports the removal of Zelensky no matter what. He's such a problem. And this is what I mean. If they had any progress, it was all just wiped out because they attempted to assassinate Vladimir Putin at his mansion. That does not show good faith. That does not show you really want peace. That shows you're snake, just like we know Zelensky and them are, and they've been doing snake moves this whole time. It definitely doesn't show the other party that you want peace. It's a big F you. And that's what they did. Zelensky and them launched, it was like 91 drones or something like that, toward Russia, and toward the main residence of Vladimir Putin, his mansion. Russia was able to knock down all the drones, so they stopped it. So Zelensky's like, oh, they're about to pound us. Yeah. You just tried to decapitate, strike Putin and failed. So now Lavrov and Putin said, all right, these talks are probably off, and expect retaliation. Something huge is going to happen, man. I'm just constantly waiting on a mushroom cloud to come out of here, or they better get some peace going. So they said they had a great meeting, but as I said, Russia says that they struck Putin's residence, and Russia is confidently advancing in Ukraine. Over 30 settlements captured in December alone. So Russia's just making moves. What sucks is they're kidnapping all these young guys and people off the streets of Ukraine just to go get slaughtered. And Germany's talking about doing it now, sending their own people and troops in just to go get slaughtered the same way in the trenches on the front line. And now Trump's acting like he's pretty pissed about this whole attack on Putin's house, saying that now's not the time. That's why he's glad he stopped the Tomahawks, because if he didn't, he's saying that tonight they wouldn't have used drones, that Zelensky and them would have used Tomahawks and struck. And they're pissed. Again, they're pissed because they're going through all this stuff to try to get to a peaceful resolution, because Trump really wants the accolade for being the one that worked out peace in this whole thing. But he's pissed. They're pissed off at Zelensky. I don't know what's going to happen there. North Korea unveils its first nuclear-powered sub, as Kim tells Putin that their nations are sharing blood, life, and death in the same trench, that they're riding together. In China, the big news around them is they just rolled out war drills surrounding Taiwan. So they've done this a couple times before. This time, it's as big as it's ever been. It's massive. And one of these times, they're going to spring into real action, is what's about to happen. It's obvious. You only do this ring around the rosy thing, surrounding them so many times before you actually do it, because they keep calling it drills. Well, you're only going to show them your hand so many times, and they're out there. They're mobilized. They have them surrounded. They plan to take back Taiwan by 2027, and this is huge. Yeah, he is steely. But they are simulating blocking key ports, all of it. So then they dropped footage. Remember, I showed you the Rothschild magazine cover, the shipping container with the missile popping out of it, right? Then I showed you that China rolled out a shipping container ship with missiles, the exact thing. Well, they drop a video of a hypersonic missile launching. Okay, so a carrier killer hypersonic missile launched from a destroyer. So a carrier killer missile being launched from one of those new freight missile things, man, I don't know how you're going to stop it. And China simulates war in the Caribbean, and they telegraph it. They put it on national television for everyone to see and know. It, I would say, is a warning, a clear warning. They simulate war in the Caribbean. Clearly, they swoop up. They show that the other team, the other guys, are around Houston, and then they make their way down into the Gulf, and that their team, the red team, swoops up around the islands. It's crazy. Like, they're simulating a full-on attack in the Caribbean right now. Like, in all of our military set up there. Like, this is they'd be brazen, try to bring any warships anywhere near this area. They'd get smoked before they got to the Gulf. Unless they send like subs, like Russia does, they could be creeping anywhere. And here's the big news about Venezuela. It really is. It's big news. They did this and kept quiet. They struck on land. It's already begun. Trump is on record today or yesterday saying 2 nights ago, we knocked out their major assets. There was a huge port on land. They had all the ships where they made ships and all this other stuff, and a huge facility. They struck it. He said 2 nights ago when he said this. So it's already happened. They've strategically struck, and it's begun. So they've been really quiet about this and haven't said much about it at all. He kind of let the cat out of the bag. So, like, it's on. It means it has begun, and, like, anything can happen from here. Okay? Now, look, his blockade has left 1 billion of Venezuelan crude stranded on tankers. Dude, he's messing them up. He's kidnapped, like stolen the tankers that are out there. They're taking all the oil off of them. They're keeping the vessels. They just blew up the main place that was producing and putting out all the stuff. And all the other tankers are turning around and going back the other way because they don't want to get smoked. And China's pissed. And so is Iran. They're depending on this. And this is the Trump blockade, as they put it. So $1 billion in crude stranded. It's a huge move, man. It's a huge move out here on the world stage. Where are we at? 11-9. All right. I will finish with some thoughts here on this. And then get some shout outs, and we're going to shut it down. Again, thank you to everyone out there that shared the stream. Appreciate it to the fullest. Thank you for the super chats. No doubt. Yeah, I guess the plan would be to be back here for New Year's Eve. The stream may start late at 10, so if for whatever reason we're not live at 9 and people are chirping in a chat or whatever, well, there's always a countdown on the screen. If people just look, it should say when I go live. But yeah, that would be the only difference if there's a change in time for the next one, just because we're going to go all the way to midnight. Scientists see quantum interference between different kinds of particles, and they admit this. Now, this may sound like scientific mumbo jumbo to you, okay? But I want you to know that there's something more to all this. 1111, much love, okay? There's something more to all this. You need to realize this, okay? To the vibration, the frequency of all this. When it comes to quantum entanglement, what they've proven is that any two atoms that are quantumly entangled, atoms, particles, whatever, any two, they could be at whatever distance in the universe, the entire universe, whatever distance. And whatever you do to one affects the other. Okay? Do you understand this? This is key. Well, not everything works. Okay? We speak things into existence. Now, I want you to try an experiment with me in your own life. I want you to start observing how you function. And I'm going to try throughout this next year to try to get everyone as aligned and as attuned as possible. But I want you to start observing how you're going about life and what you do in the daily. And I want you to realize that a lot of what everyone does is generated from the subconscious. Okay? Your subliminal. Everything that comes from the subconscious. It is what you've been programmed your whole life on. Your subconscious. It takes over in so many ways, and it's programmed in more ways than you know. Okay, and this is along the same lines of when you talk about reprogramming yourself, of like a hypnotist or even MK Ultra. It's tapping into an area here where you're retraining yourself. Okay, off the trigger words and things. Okay, and this is what I mean. You have to stop speaking negative about anything. Okay? You have to start speaking positively, especially about yourself in all aspects. And you need to do it in the present tense, the present. It's called the present for a reason. Do you understand me? I'm trying to give you keys. It's called the present because it's a present. It's a gift. When you operate in the now, in the right this moment, okay, and you speak things, commands into existence, what you do is you collapse reality around what you're speaking. Because that's how this place works if you haven't figured it out yet. It works off verbal command. Your Bible starts with God spoke. He said this, he said that. It shows you like you're trying to show a child. It was hidden and embedded right there, and you can see it. He said, let there be. He said this, he said that. He spoke everything. You have the same gift. Present. It's time you start using it. You have been programmed your whole life to say all these things like, well, I'm not that good at it, but I'll try. And when you say things like that, what you do is you collapse everything down around that type of reality to bring it into existence. And you stay stuck in a loop Oh, well, I'm not that good at it, but anytime you want to say these things, you're cursing yourself, man. And you've been doing it your whole life. I'm trying to fix you. If you care. You are the wizard. You are the magician. Jesus told you this, that you would go on to do greater things than he. How? How? Well, you got to know your tools. You got to know your capabilities. You got to know what you are. Energy inside of a vessel. Okay? And this whole place is built on speaking command, speaking things into existence. Every single thing. Okay? So, when you wake up in the morning, you should think to yourself, oh no, you shouldn't be like, oh, it's another day, I'm too tired. I can't do this. I can't do this, not again. I'm so sick of it. Guess what? Guess what you just did? Guess what you just did? You collapsed reality down around it. You better listen to me. No one ever came along and taught you. You were never meant to know these things. They don't want you to know your power. It's called a mindset for a reason. And it goes right along with quantum entanglement here. This is how it all works through the ether. The ether, the ether. The ether is a substance, a realm that we live within, that sits on both sides of dimension, third dimension and fourth dimension, has a foot on each side. It's a transitional area. We live in it and can't see it in our oblivious to it, pretty much like a fish is in water that lives its whole life in the water, not even knowing, the difference of what's in it. But this is how it is, okay? So you need to start saying, instead of saying that, there goes my memory again. I can never remember anything. You need to correct it. And you need to say, well, my memory serves me well. You're correcting this now, and you need to say it with confidence. You need to say it with pure full-blown energy. Okay? And you need to live your life like this with everything that you do. You also need to start living neutral and not giving away your energy to other entities and other life forms that will feed off of your energy, because they know how to manipulate you. And when they know how to manipulate you, then they tap right into your energy and they leech off of it. And a lot of people don't even realize this, but I'm going to make you aware of all this. You can either choose to see or stick your head back in the sand. And then I'm going to give you a nice swift kick in the ass. Because once you have the eyes to see, there is no going back. Okay? You could speak all these things. It's just like it's setting the vision. I tell you all the time, having a vision board is key. Drawing something on the vision board, putting key things on the vision board that you can look over at. Like I'm looking at one right now, and it's got all these things that I want to tackle going down the board. Vision boards are key. They help to reinforce and remind you of what is important. That way you've got to wonder, or maybe you forget. We've got them written down there. They're there. And and there may be one that you might have forgot, or you don't always remember. It's there. Your list is there. Okay? And man, look, even if you want to go build a house, draw it on the vision board. Speak it to existence. Even if it's you by yourself, you and your significant other, even if it's just you two, you can do all of it. You can speak it into existence from nothing. Let me tell you, because I did it from nothing. I did it from nothing. God gave it to me when he took everything from me. Right when I was demonetized, right when everything got taken from everything, I kept my faith in God and I kept my vision on everything. And I didn't go into a loop of a negative feed loop. I kept my faith and kept my eyes on the prize, and it kept delivering. And it brought me out of it. And it brought me to where I'm sitting here. And I had a vision board where I drew a house. And it sat there. Everybody walk in the room and they'd see me. What's that? Be like, oh, it's the house I'm going to build this. And people just look at it and, you know, well, I keep on going. But guess what? I'm sitting in it right now. You see? And this is when they took everything from me. And I found ways. So that's why I never hear no excuse from no one about nothing. If you want it, you'll go get it. If you want it, you'll go get it. Even if you have no options, you will speak it into existence. You will make it happen. Or you can keep telling yourself it can't happen, it won't happen, and you can stay in a negative loop for the rest of your days. There's a way to correct this. The things you say like, oh, I'm not no good at that. You got to stop saying that. Oh, well, I'm too old. I can't do that. You got to stop saying that. It's what's kicked your ass your whole life. You've cursed yourself your whole life. You've got to deprogram it. Do you understand what I'm telling you now? Do you see it now? You see it? You've got to wash away. It's on you. So you've got to observe your life daily. And at the end of the day, you have to see, you have to stop, you have to reflect. You have to be like, you know, where did you lose control? Where did you get angry throughout the day? Where could you improve on these things? You know, where did you let your energy fly? Where'd you let someone else get the best of you? You need to realize all these things, man. When you can master all these things, that's when you've done it. Everyone's squandering everything here. You have the power to manifest. You are a co-creator. You are a spark of God inside this body. It's time to get to work, man. There's so much you can do. So start there. Start by correcting yourself. I can't do it for you. I can't do nothing. You have to truly want this. You have to truly reflect. You have to see the flaws. You have to see the problems, the issues, write them down if need be. And then you have to tackle them. You have to fix them. You have to quit saying the negative and repeating it over and over. And you have got to correct it. And I'm telling you, when you do this, you will start to instantly manifest and collapse down around you what you want and the righteous, the good things. You will start to manifest and bring into reality the things that you speak, because that's the power God gave you. Time to use it. I'll give you more later. Start there. That's where you have to start. Once you can do that, we'll advance. All right. Where we at? All right. Shut it down. Seek the kingdom of God within you. I've given you so many keys on this. You're an antenna, a crystalline antenna that's structured, has a purpose. It functions a certain way. You need to make the most of it. You need to make the most out of your antenna. Raise the frequency and the vibration. Okay? And that heals. It does all kinds of great things in itself in just being able to do it. And there's these keys. There's a way of living that if you do it, as they've told us, well, one of the scriptures says you would do well to avoid doing a lot of those other things. Eating many of the things that people eat. But who wants to hear about that? This work gets boring. That's where I can always tell when at the end of the show, when I start to drop the goods in like 50, 60, 70 people drop off, I could tell that, they're never going to get it. Like, this is, out of all the gems, out of all the stuff I covered tonight, this is the best. This is the information. The heck with all these other stupid stories. It's this here, the substance, the essence of all of it is what counts. And when people don't want to stick around for that, like, it's on them. It's their loss. You can lead a horse to water. You got that right. You got to want it. But hey, no one can deny that, because I'm out here. I go all out till I'm gone. I see it as doing the work for the Most High. I gather people. I drop the news, but along the way, I got to drop the breadcrumbs for the way out. And like, I got to at least show you. And then if someone has an inkling that they really want out, and the ears perk up, and they're like, hold on, what'd he say? Like, you can do this, you can do, and they gravitate toward it. Well, then, job well done. Then there's a soul that I got their attention, and I gave them what they needed. And they could start to work their way up out of here. And they could start to do things here in the physical like they were meant to do. So good luck to all of you. Do good things for other people. Like I said last stream, if I had $1 billion, of course you take care of your family and this and that, but that's minimal. You got hundreds of millions to give away. Like, that would be the dream. To be someone like to wake up like Elon Musk one day. Like, I pray to God that you reach down, you take a hold of Elon Musk, someone like him, and you turn him good. And like, you just have him start doing crazy, good, amazing things every day. Like, no one does it. Not one billionaire does it. So I pray to God for one. But this isn't about the material, obviously. It's overcoming the material. And I wish you luck in that. So, yeah, we'll take us out of here in some music. As I always say, if the Lord doesn't return in the coming days, I'll see you here next time for some Underground World News Live, New Year's Eve. Man. I got something that I have to give some of you. I don't know how else to put it, but it's not meant to be here. BB ain't got much time left, does he? Much love, Riffs, Cat Bar. Thank you so much. John Boy, Granite, Cindy Lou, Kids Out. Big D. You'll stay safe out there. Academy, Minnie, Tiffany. Deanne, thank you for everything. I'm serious. Thank you so much. So much. And Eon. The legendary Eon. The only one coming through with coffees tonight. I told you, when no one else comes through, you do. 7 coffees. I can't thank you enough. It's legendary. Legendary. Much love. God bless. Thank you, Steeler, Steve, Lowrider, everybody else, man. Much love. Jackson's Rob. You called for a lot.